Gearing up for the popcorn moment. Brought to you by Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. Your kitchen, your bathroom, your basement. Booher Remodeling is the only call for over 2 decades, taking care of Central Indiana and doing it very, 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 very well. Your bathroom is especially one of those places that you often don't think about, hey, how can we make this work for us? It should be, because this is about value. How you wake up in the morning, how you go to bed at night. If you wake up, walk into that master bath and realize the tile's coming up and this is so old and this doesn't work anymore and these cabinets, a bad mood for the day, doesn't make any sense. You want to end the day, you want to relax, you want to get yourself into a happy spot, and then you walk to that bathroom and you're like, gosh, this is gross. That's no way to live, people. Talk to Booher today about that bathroom, about turning it into something that actually works for you, that has the storage space for you, that has the configuration that works for you. And it doesn't have to look like every other master bath. It has to look like yours. What works for you? What works for your family? Talk to Booher today. Their 5-step design process, from the consultation to that final bit of construction, means you know what's happening every step of the way. No stress. And they back it all up. They stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Booher Remodeling, 317-852-5546. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-852-5546. Booher Remodeling, 852-5546, or online at Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. The popcorn moment. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's a story you need to hear to believe. Then grab your popcorn, because there is more. Yes, the shutdown is over. What was it, 43 days of absolute nonsense, of unnecessary shutdown, of children not being fed, of people not being paid, and Democrats wanted it to continue, by the way. Oh, they tried some last-minute antics there, did Hakeem Jeffries. They tried all the last-minute shenanigans about extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, which clearly isn't affordable. I would share with you the audio of Hakeem Jeffries calling it the Republican healthcare crisis, but that's just boring and nonsense and garbage, and I don't think it needs to be shared. He said it. I don't need to share the audio. But you know he said it, so we can just move on from there. But this was a take. John Karl from ABC on with Stephen Colbert, because where else is he going to go? And this is his take on the shutdown. Now, John Karl, I believe for a while, led the White House Correspondents Association. John Karl, a journalist. I mean, I would like for that to be the case. But with stuff like this, I now have to look at it suspect, and people can disagree with me. Listen.
Democratic senators are dealing with the fallout of having voted with Republicans to end the shutdown. Have you... It doesn't help now, but thank you.
So first things first. There's the audience saying it was wrong to end the shutdown. They wanted air traffic controllers not to get paid. They wanted kids not to get fed. That's the Colbert audience. I'm utilizing their words against them. I will not let anybody get angry with me. That's their problem. Maybe they shouldn't have been so cavalier saying that Donald Trump was going to let kids starve. They did this. They opened it up. I say they're the ones who have to deal with it. Now, if you don't understand what I'm saying, allow me to try and make it easier for you.
They bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash.
Glad we hugged it out. Continue, won't you?
Have you talked with any of these 8 senators?
Yeah, I have, and I've also talked to senators who were against this and wanted to continue the fight and wanted to continue the shutdown and to force the Republicans to give in on health care.
Which was the stated goal by Chuck Schumer and others.
Yeah, like, we're not going to back down. We're going to insist on this.
We have to make sure that we get the ACA subsidies.
Yeah, and then ultimately came. But I got to tell you, my conversations with senators who were technically opposed to this, Democrats, were actually happy to see this end. I mean, the shutdown had gone on for 43 days. They elevated this issue of the fact that for 20+ million Americans, health insurance premiums are going to skyrocket on January 1st. And the Republicans showed no signs of giving in on this at all. Airports were ground to a halt. People were about to lose their food stamp benefits. And I think there was a feeling like, you know, we've elevated the issue and it's time to move on.
That's a lie, John Karl. You're lying right there. It's a lie, and you're a liar, and ABC has hired a liar who lies on air. I want to make sure I was clear about the liar and the lying in John Karl. Democrats don't feel like they elevated the issue and it was time to let it go. Your words said they wanted it to continue. Their words are they wanted it to continue. And there is now a concerted effort among some Democrats to push Chuck Schumer out of his leadership role. Do you think that's because everything went well and they elevated the issue and now it was time for everything to end and the shutdown to end? No. They're infuriated with the 8 Democrats and the 7 Democrats and 1 independent who came over and voted with the Republicans. They were fighting it in the House of Representatives. There are 6 Democrats who came over to vote with the Republicans. 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats. Thomas Massie was one of them. Representative Stubbe out of Florida was the other. They didn't want this to end. The Democrats didn't want this to end. And everybody who just booed, they were in favor of this continuing. John Karl is lying. John Karl is a liar. In his own words, he admits that he's lying. They wanted it to continue. And to Indiana Democrats, let me just be clear. All politics is about power. Now you say to me, it shouldn't be, or say to me, how dare you? You say to me, it's not true. Whoa, 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 whoa. Democrats didn't want to feed children so they could do something else. And they wanted to utilize the shutdown and in a position of power in order to get the Republicans to do what they wanted to do. If Republicans in Indiana don't redistrict, they're out of their holy damn minds. There is no argument against that I have found to be worthy. And I know there are people against, and, well, I think they're wrong. And I'm going to continue to make my argument. Democrats have no issue with the discussion of power and the utilization of power. Yet when Republicans want to utilize power, then it's the end of the world. I say, nah. Use the power. And if people don't like it, they'll vote you out. Now, if you say to me, well, I don't want to get voted out. I'm scared. I'm not going to do anything. Well, we're going to vote you out for that, too. So, I think that you should just stand up and do. Now, if you don't want to, you come out and say, I don't want to, and deal with the consequences of that. And it might work, and there might be consequences, might not. I don't know. Right? But if you don't understand what the left is doing regarding power, it's an unserious play. Oh, none of these Republicans deserve our vote. That is so not an argument as to be laughable. It's not an argument. It is childlike pablum. We live in the real world. Sometimes you got to do things you don't like with people you don't like. I agree. And sometimes you got to stand up. And I think this is one of those times for both. John Karl lied. Now you know. Matt Bear's got traffic.